to Advanced Energy Healing Remote Transmissions Declassified. I'm Annie Kalatkar, and with me today is Ashley Lee, my friend and business partner and co-author of Leap of Consciousness. And together, we want to share with you today what goes on when we are doing remote transmissions. And we know you have questions, and we hope to answer them in this video and deepen your understanding of how you can benefit from these transmissions. So Ashley, how would you define a remote transmission for someone?
I love that question, and I love the idea of remote transmissions. It offers so many opportunities that we may not have considered. So when we're talking about energy healing and the opportunity to transmit that energy healing to a person or persons or a family or a group of people, you and I stand together transmitting this form of energy healing. And there are many different facets of energy healing that we're going to explore about today and share what those facets can be. And in this idea of remote energy transmissions, we can do it, and we're going to talk about some of the benefits of why remote work works maybe as well, sometimes better than even being in person one-on-one, either in an office or a studio or online like we're here today, sharing on a video format or on the telephone. We can do these remote transmissions without ever talking to each other, sending the energy, thought to thought, heart to heart, spirit to spirit, body to body. We send this transmission through the airwaves. Lots of people call it different things in different parts of the country, right? Or different parts of the world. In Hawaii, we call it the coconut wireless. Maybe in the scientific realm, in the realm of physics, we call it the quantum field, right? But what we do is we send this through what goes beyond time and space, and we send it to directly from us, and we're even in two different spaces. Annie's in LA and I'm in San Diego, and we're both in California, USA. And we can send these transmissions anywhere around the world to any particular people that choose to sign up for our programs. And that's how I envision remote energy healing.
So the thing I love about it is you don't need a computer, you don't need a telephone. You don't need to be in person. You don't even need to see us or hear us. In fact, you don't even need to be in the same time zone.
Right. Right. That's what's so amazing, right? Is you can be in the comfort of your own home. You can be in the comfort of somebody else's home if you're on a vacation. You can be in a hotel. You can be anywhere and receive these energy transmissions. We're going to go deeper into what it is, how we send it, and how you receive it to further develop this understanding of how energy transmissions work.
I especially love that we are time zone indifferent. And what this means is you could be in London and we're in California with 8 hours between us, and you're in the middle of the night. It could be 8 o'clock our time, but it doesn't matter because it's really about 8 o'clock your time. So as Ashley and I are doing our transmission process, we're actually working outside of time and space. We're working far outside of the fourth dimension. And we're working across all dimensions, and we're sending this energy. What appears to be back in time to you is the same exact time outside of time and space. Now, it's okay. We don't have to all understand how this works. And certainly I do appreciate that quantum physicists are working on finding good common language for us to understand this.
Yes.
Just know that the process works, and we love that it works, because this is one of the bases for our program, because we know people travel. We know they don't want to miss our remote transmissions, and it goes wherever they go. So
And
that is one of the biggest benefits of our program.
it really is. That's where the benefit is so we chose for most of our programs to be on Wednesday evenings, kind of in the middle of the week, not really disrupting any plans for the weekend, and facilitating your overall growth, development, understanding, healing opportunities that may not have been available. It's a beautiful program also, which we really support everyone in connecting with their inner guidance. And the reason why we don't have direct communication with you during the energy transmission is because we want you to see, feel, hear, know, touch, feel it, experience the energy transmission in your own private environment as a way to begin the facilitation and the process of connecting to your, what we could call your higher guidance. And that higher guidance is this idea that the whole entire world is omniscient. Everything in our world contains information, knowings, wisdom, understanding. And it's our ability to tap into that, understand it, extrapolate it, assimilate it, process it, and then bring it out to our physical world, to our relationships, our systems, our structures, our genius, our beauty that we want to create in the world. This process called remote energy transmission supports you in connecting with your own inner guidance. We're like facilitating the container to help give you a system and a structure to connect to whatever you receive in your meditation. And it can be deliberate, like at a specific time, like we have different programs at 8 o'clock or 8:30 or 9 o'clock or 9:30. There are different times. And when you intentionally or volitionally sit down, relax, and connect, awake while you're awake, that is a beautiful time to really process that information, both linearly in your mind and process that, but also non-linearly in your creative mind, right? In your feelings, in your emotional energetic body, in your spiritual energetic body, really connecting to it and having these live, interactive with yourself experiences.
I want to add to that because it is a creative process. Most people that I know that do not meditate, when they hear that word, they kind of freak out, like, oh, I could never do that. Or they feel like, oh, my mind wanders too much, etc. This is not necessarily a, get centered, get peaceful, empty your mind. This is an interactive, fun, playful experience. We want you, like, when you're a kid and there's the swimming pool and all your friends are racing towards it and you want to be the first one to go dive in and be the first to go right into that still water. We want you to be playful. We want you to actually tune in and say hello to your inner guidance and say, where are we going today? Are we going to the physical body, the emotional body, the mental, or the spiritual? And you may not know where you're taken on this journey, but this journey is fun. And this journey is oftentimes just marvelous. Like I had one person say, it's kind of like Alice in Wonderland. I discovered I had all these gift boxes I was supposed to open on this journey. And the contents inside those perceived gift boxes were so valuable as insights to support the participant on their life journey at what was going on at the present moment. And that brings me to my next my next statement. We all have to cultivate our own linguistics, our own language for the symbols that we experience on our meditation journeys, in our dreams, in our daily life. It is so unique to you. Your experience, your journey has its own descriptives. The way in which you perceive your energy packet, your inner guidance is showing you in its own language that you can relate to what the gift of the meditation is for you in that moment. It may be completely different for me or someone else. And this is the beauty of remote transmissions. It is like a unique healing formula specific for your present needs. Whether it's acute or chronic, it doesn't matter. The gifts are always present for you.
It's really true. And that whole idea of connecting to it, we want to share with you how one gets started in these energy transmissions. After you go onto our website, choose the type of program we're going to talk about that you can choose from that really fits your needs in the moment or your desires in the moment. And then when you do that and you connect on Wednesday evenings, what happens is when in your environment to help you open to receiving is this process, which we do. It's really creating this opportunity for a level of self-nurturing. This is kind of your time. It's a me time. If your children are involved in the programs too, it's their time as well, or a family time. We promote the whole family getting involved because it really, picture this for just a moment. Everyone's sitting around the living room instead of on the TV or media or on their phones or whatever it is, or maybe a break from homework or work that we needed to do in the evening time ourselves. We all take a 30-minute time out and we do me time, family time. And we're all sitting on the couches or the recliner or someplace where we can really relax our physical body, move into an awareness of our breathing, have an opportunity to have our eyes open or eyes closed, but having this moment of really looking inside, being inside of ourselves, and then experiencing the expanded world that we live in. And in that opportunity, we turn off all of the media. We settle the house down, maybe even turn off all the lights, have candle lights or something in the environment that supports a quiet home, a peaceful space. And in that, we assure each other of really creating uninterrupted space for 30 minutes. We're not really used to that in our environments many times. And so inside of that, what we do is when you start to have that moment come upon us and we've set the environment so that we can really be at peace for 30 minutes. We get in connection with our breathing because many times we're anxious or frustrated or worried or upset. And when we breathe and regulate our breathing, it regulates our heartbeat. It softens our blood pressure. Our breathing becomes more regular, deep, and rhythmic. Our physical body starts to get in synchrony with our mental mind, our emotional heart, and our spiritual essence. And all of those energetic bodies start to congregate as one whole being, not separate from each other, or having to look at the world so compartmentalized. We have an opportunity then I like to close my eyes, but then sometimes I open them too, so it's perfect for whichever way you'd like to experience it. And then tune in to the energy transmission. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute, is about how we send the information and the energy that you get to receive in your energetic field. And so in the process of opening your energetic field, you open to the energy package. You open to the focal point that you would like to work with. You can even set an intention with yourself or all others that are participating. You can set an intention like, I choose to open to understanding how to become more peaceful in my life, even in those chaotic moments, right? So do you see how that's a very specific intention of how the energy and the information and the understanding is coming to you to have this internal experience of what that means in your world that's specific to you. And then when you start to open that up, then we support you in releasing that intention. I have to know how to have peace in my chaotic world. Because when we have to know something, we cinch our energy down and we force and we demand and we get impatient, and then we're looking for the outcome. So tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have a completely peaceful day, no matter how bad it is, right? Well, that may or may not be realistic. What we're asking for is the energy to come into us that we have a strong sense of knowing and understanding oh, here's one of those moments tomorrow that come up that are chaotic. Ah, I can take a deep breath. I can close my eyes for half a second. I can recognize that I can come back to that peaceful place and then start to problem solve some of that chaos, right? So that's that idea of letting go of how the intention or how the information has to be received. And when we do that, we open to more that's available than we ever thought possible.
That's a great way for establishing your setup for receiving, right? When we start in here with releasing that attachment to the outcome, we're basically moving into ease and flow. We're letting go of push energy and force that we have to make something happen. And we move into this state of love that is more of pronoia, meaning the universe is conspiring to support me. And it begins right here. So when we do that, and we set that space in our mind, then we also can set our physical space. We can have a relaxing chair, sofa, or bed to rest upon. We can turn off TVs, radios, cell phones, and tablets, and close windows so that outside noise does not interfere with our focus during the meditation.
Right.
And we can also request that our family give us the necessary time and space for our own self-nurturing, our own self-love, or invite them to share it with you. Now, I know I couldn't do that with my little kids just now, but you know, that means I might have to go to a room in the house and shut the door and lock it so that I can have that time, and ask for my husband to mind the children so that I have that dedicated time. It also means that you put a reminder in your calendar to reinforce and support your commitment to doing this particular program. This is how you set the stage to receive and begin your healing process with intention and commitment. Now, Ashley, being a pediatric expert healer, I'm going to let her share how the children receive.
Well, it's a really beautiful process. And with children of all different ages, that means all the way in utero, gestating to come out into the world. And then kids of all ages, infants, toddlers, preschoolers, school-age children, high schoolers, teens, and young adults. All of them have different genres, different needs, different understandings. As the older children get older, I'd even suggest even babies, you could certainly hold your baby while you're receiving your energy transmission and allow the baby to start to understand how to receive an energy transmission. I really do believe that that's supportive. I believe that preschoolers and toddlers can have a much easier time when they actually start to learn how to meditate so early in life. And also, let's say we just have a really busy day. There are many preteens who are very busy with schedules and events and athletic activities and different things that may make it challenging to be present at the time that we deliver. So we also support, we're very open to the pediatric population and populations who are very busy and have a hard time getting into the mode for 30 minutes in the evening on Wednesdays for any particular reason. And so what we do is we also offer this energy package during your sleep time. And the children really, really enjoy it, especially if they're older and they haven't been exposed to the opportunity that meditation is an opportunity. They might just not be used to it at this time in their lives. And so when they're not used to it, they can go to sleep with it, receive the energy package, and they wake up to a new experience. They wake up more integrated. They wake up speaking clear. They wake up feeling more supported that they can share as they experience their world. They wake up less suppressed. And I don't mean in a bad way, I mean in a good way. They wake up going, wow, okay, when you tell me to go take out the trash and I don't take out the trash, then it's okay for me to share why it's not a great time. I'm really tired. This is really not my thing. Can I do something else? whatever it is,
So you're
right?
saying they have better energetic relational skills.
They sure do. And they have an opportunity, they have new understanding, because also what we support inside of our energy healing transmissions is brain integration. So when they have this new understanding, this new awareness, this new insight, now they know what to do with it, because their brain and nervous system is now integrated in a way that this makes sense to them. Oh, it's okay to speak up. Oh, it's okay to share how I feel. Oh, it's okay to express I have an uncomfortable emotion. And when I have an uncomfortable emotion, I know I created it and I get to change it. I just need a little guidance, right? So they know how to facilitate that and advocate for themselves in a much easier way. We find this statistically remarkable with clients we work with all over the world.
And I see it in my children. I know you see it in your daughter.
Yeah, it's really
and we've had our children, my youngest is 8, ask for a remote energy transmission specific to a problem, which they just love. So, so just as much as you prepare yourself for remote transmissions on the receiving end, we too prepare ourselves to transmit. So Ashley and I, for the last several years, and we've known each other going on 7 years, I think, we have been researching consciousness challenges. And in this process, we have recognized that the degree of integrity that is present in anyone is directly linked to the consciousness challenges that they are operating from. It's like having a computer system with bugs in the software. And so Ashley and I have been, for the last couple of years, in a very dedicated, very committed process, have been healing consciousness challenges, not only in ourselves, but in our clients and in the world. And it was from this beautiful work that we realized that we could support inside remote transmissions the healing of consciousness challenges. So we look at, you know, our skill set and what we bring to the table and how we hold space and set space. And a big part of that is by keeping our consciousness in the empowered state, that we are coming from inside love and oneness when we transmit, that we have done our own internal sort of reconciliation so that we are in a higher vibration when we are doing our transmitting. And then I hold space from a family constellation background, not just for us, but for our participants. And Ashley has gorgeous intuitive abilities as well as a seer, as a telepath. We tune into the participants to understand if there are extras that are needed during the transmission process. And sometimes we'll just pick up that someone actually is ready for or needs additional assistance to make that quantum jump into a space that's closer to oneness, to get them so far out of the separation that they've created that they can actually be closer to the space of love. And we facilitate that type of quantum jump in their healing process. And we are both committed to everybody doing self-healing, which is the purpose of remote transmissions. We know that you want to participate in your healing process. And so we're creating this space for you to engage and get closer to the information that you need that is directly linked to your unconscious mind, so that you can notice it, address it, heal it, reframe it, start living a new pattern right away. And that is why, from my perspective, I see tremendous value in remote transmissions.
I do too. It's just remarkable to know that we can support you, and in the side of the facilitation of really helping you on a day-to-day basis, maybe in the moments that we're triggered, to notice these consciousness challenges that we face. You know, like comparison consciousness, like anger consciousness, like addiction consciousness where we're addicted to sugar or whatever, you know, all of the chocolate, all of those things, you know, where we can oh, look at that, I'm going for chocolate. Am I going for chocolate because I'm really hungry for chocolate, or am I hungry for chocolate because my brain feels out of balance? I need some dopamine and I'm having an emotional problem with my, you know, with my daughter or with my colleague or something going on where I'm not sure how to navigate that. And so, right, the chocolate gives us a sense of soothing. So then we can recognize, oh, I'm eating chocolate for dopamine. Okay, I want to feel good. Okay, I don't feel good. So you see how that immediately backs you up into what's really going on. So you can still have the chocolate. And you can augment yourself to support yourself and give yourself the emotional nurturing you might need in that moment. Maybe reframing your emotions, maybe letting go of the uncomfortable ones and going, okay, this is a triggering event. How would I like to handle this peacefully, happily, with joy, saying, yay, I got a problem. I get it. I can change it now because it's really, I'm aware of it happening.
Yeah, which it brings up conscious choice, right?
Absolutely.
Once you have that awareness, you're better empowered or more empowered to actually notice the components of what's driving your experience. And that is, you know, remote transmissions helps you gain the clarity in the moment so that you know how to connect to your inner guidance. You're in the habit of connecting with that heart-centeredness so that the next time you get triggered, there's a part of you that goes, okay, inner guidance, show me where to go next. And maybe it's showing you just go for a walk around the block and cool down.
Right.
But it might be saying, okay, breathe. You're not powerless. It may be sharing with you, look at all your resources in this moment instead of jumping to some conclusion that you might have jumped to in the past that made you feel even more powerless. So this repetitive process of once a week for 12 weeks deepens your connection on a routine with conscious intention so that you're building upon the prior week and developing that connection so that when you need it, it's right there for you. So
right.
Ashley,
we really wanted to share this, right? I'm so excited to talk about our topics of different remote energy transmissions because it is light and love. It is sound. It is seeing, hearing, touching, knowing, feeling, experience. And it's also can be very focused and supportive in different genres and areas of your life that are very specific. And so it isn't just a weekly, I get to relax and I get to have peace, because that's all good. And I get to learn how to connect to my inner guidance. But now we get to focus it in specific areas that really support you in seeing and validating value and measurable understandings that, wow, I've really made some changes in my life. I can really see that it's really true. You can also we have global programs too that like kind of bring the whole thing in. And we have specific ones. And we're just so excited to share them because in that process, we really start to go, wow, I can have mastery with my life versus trying to control it, push it, make it, force it, and do all of that in my life because we know that all adds stress to ourselves.
Ashley, will you start by sharing the children's programs?
You know, it just excites me to have children's programs and to have them in a remote energy healing format. Because what is so awesome is, yes, depending upon where your family's at, where you're at, where the kids are at, they can have it while they sleep or during an intentional time in the evening. And I just want to share for a moment about this intentional time in the evening. When you set the environment of your family's home being peaceful and quiet and coming together, the children really, even though it's strange to them because maybe they're used to being on their TV or they're used to reading a book or something at that time, it's really cool because they get to connect with their inner selves. And they call it my inside self. Many of them do, around ages 6 to 8. They call it my inside self. And that's the part that talks to them. That's the part that The world talks to them and they start to hear this and they have an inner conversation. That inner conversation is far more than imagination. And it's not about pretend. It's really this opportunity to receive inner guidance throughout their day. And what's so neat is when you're complete with this energy transmission 30 minutes later, what happens is it opens a door and an opportunity to have conversations with your kids. What did your inner guidance share with you tonight? What did you experience? Did you see something? Did you hear something? Did you feel something move through your body? Some of the kids are so highly sensitive, they say it's tickly. And it can be tickly. And so what we do is you all can write us and email us and say, my child feels tickly. And so what we can do is they're not used to the energy flowing through them. And so they can breathe and say, it's okay. And then it becomes warm and cuddly versus tickly, or maybe a little bit scary or strange. And the information, and you can share with them, it's your inner guidance talking to you. All we're doing is making that system and structure so that that inner guidance can come forward into the person and really connect on this higher level of understanding.
You bring up a good point, Ashley, about highly sensitive children. A lot of adults are highly sensitive too.
Yes.
And one of the things that Ashley and I are very committed to is that we offer comforting support, not just to the children, but to the adults as well.
Yes.
Because many people have intuitive abilities and gifts, and they're already in overwhelm. And these programs are designed to begin to dial down the overwhelm through the supportive energies that comfort and nourish the person while they're getting reorganized inside their brain and nervous system about how to better manage their experiences from the 4 different energy bodies: the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual.
Absolutely. And so even as an adult, taking these programs and participating in this way, ask yourself, what did I experience? What colors did I see? What shapes did I see? What symbols did I see? What visions or vignettes did I see? What meaning does that have? Inner guidance, I open to understanding how to connect the dots. Because a lot of times it comes in as abstract information. It doesn't always come in very linearly, or this is how you do it. A plus B equals C, or 1 plus 2 equals 3, right? It doesn't come in all the time like that. A lot of times it comes in bits and pieces as we start to really delve deeper into our unconscious mind and start releasing those consciousness challenges. That's why we do a lot of the facilitation to support you moving through those consciousness challenges, kind of giving you a moment of reprieve, so to speak, so that you can see your inner guidance, experience your inner guidance more clearly.
And when we talk about that facilitation, we're talking about removing resistance to your healing process, your attachment to story, and the way you may make excuses to keep yourself from focusing on your interior belief that you're powerless. You may have perfection,
doubtful.
Yeah, and things like, well, I can't be wrong in how I perceive the energy, or I've got to do this perfectly, or I'll just fake it till I make it, and the self-judgment problems that pop up. So for both children and adults, we're facilitating the lifting of these energetic layers that block the access to inner guidance. So Ashley,
and that whole reason for inner guidance, right, is for self-healing, conflict resolution, self-understanding how to not just regulate your emotions and your thoughts, but to reframe them and really experience a new reality for you. I mean, it doesn't have to be a big departure from other people's reality, but what if the reason why your husband, for example, doesn't take out the trash? It may be because he was tired versus just trying to be irritating, right? Or something like that is an example. Is we can be more available to becoming open to noticing what might really be happening versus what we assumed or surmised or because of the way we're feeling triggered about it or have a negative emotion about it, it may taint our ability to really see more clearly about what's occurring. Because the reason why we want to clear that taintedness is so that we can have a more valuable conversation that's more direct, more supportive, more understanding, more loving, less judgmental, which we call compassionate. And when we have those compassionate, deeper conversations with people, we start to move the energy in our lives, which improves our relationships.
You just described the essence of the student leadership program.
Yes.
Why don't you elaborate on that? Because I love how you frame the pediatric parts of our joint practice here, and then share the difference between that and student learning enhancements.
Yes, well, for student leadership, what we do is we really promote a playground, an opportunity inside the energy healing process where the student leader may be highly psychic or multisensory. That leader may really have a strong sense of knowing, and yet challenging tactical ways in sharing that strong sense of knowing. They may kind of try to push it on everybody accidentally. They're not really trying to. They just really want people to move out of their suffering states into their true nature states, which is love. And many times they don't know how to do it, and they want you to get there as quick as possible so that you're not suffering anymore. And they don't realize that. And so their tact or their way of relating to themselves or other people can be a little bit harsh or challenging. So when you're really a born leader, there are many challenges that people may or may not understand that leaders really face. Many leaders are highly intelligent, and they get bored very easily, especially in suppressed environments where schooling sometimes can be suppressing or compromising. And when they have to compromise all day, they get very challenged, and they're not used to saying, okay, so school was kind of boring, and they don't know how to turn that around in the classroom to creating it being fun, exciting for everyone. And so this program really supports them gaining the understanding, gaining that their own contextual understanding about how to be a leader. Some can be a leader in healing, some can be a leader in business, some can be a leader in government, some can be a leader in environment. There's all different ways to become a leader in our world and to guide people with their genius that's coming through. And that's the other part that we talk about, the energy healing, is sometimes their genius comes in so fast, so quick, they don't know how to work with it. They get kind of overwhelmed. They're like, ah. And so what we do is we help them learn how to change their brainwaves so that they can actually extrapolate. I want this piece and I want this piece. I don't need everything right this second, even though it seems like I want everything right this second. And so they'll extrapolate pieces a little bit at a time. Oh, I can bring this all together. So they learn more advanced forms of processing in their brain and nervous system to really express openly in the world. That's one way. And then in student enhancements, we have a program where we found that it's very challenging for many children to process information from a multisensory standpoint. So this is a program for really highly sensitive children, whether they're leaders or not. We're all here to bring our genius and our love to the world, no matter what role or archetype we fill in our world. And inside of this, sometimes they get overwhelmed and sensory overwhelmed, either hearing or sight or processing or feeling kinesthetically. The kids who can't wear tags or socks on their shoes, that would be me a long time ago. And so in those situations, we support their knowing, their inner knowing of how to navigate these sensory experiences so that they can turn that around into something positive. And they can go, Mom, the clock ticking on the wall is way too loud. And so then what we do is we say, okay, so what are we going to do? How about we take the battery out of the clock, put the clock in another room, maybe turn the clock in to someplace else. Maybe it doesn't belong in our household. If it's too loud, like the toilet flushing out in the outside world, you can cover your ears. You can tune it down or turn that hearing down. There's lots of different modalities and ways in which children can deal with and work with mastery rather than coping or suppressing their ability to work with their sensitivities. So that's what's really directly available inside our student enhancements program. Will you share with us our AIK program, which we call AIK, Access Infinite Knowledge, and our LOC program, Leap of Consciousness. Those two are our overarching programs, which are really amazing.
And they're suitable for all ages. The Access Infinite Knowledge is really about connecting to your inner guidance. It is about strengthening that connection and beginning to recognize the levels of infinite knowledge that you have the ability to connect to that relate to you. So with your heart-centered and unified, mind and heart experience, you can then begin to release some of the patterns that you may have already established, like mistrust of your inner guidance. And this is a perfect opportunity to heal that situation. Our program supports that. And being able to listen, create your linguistics. There's so many doors that open on this program. I can't even begin to list them because everybody is different. But just the right way that you need it to strengthen your connection, this program is designed to do just that. Right. Now, Leap of Consciousness is born out of the work Ashley and I have been doing for the last several years. This is about not only noticing what is going on in your unconscious mind. You see, in the past, people suggested that you needed a psychic to read what was going on in your unconscious mind, because people were very unconscious with their unconscious thoughts. So the Leap of Consciousness 12-week program is supporting you opening to noticing your thoughts, your words that you speak, your behaviors, your actions, because they are all arrows pointing to what is in your unconscious mind. And in this process, we have been able to support people in understanding how to heal their conflicts, so that not only do you clear your consciousness challenges, you have an opportunity to see how to reframe them organically and naturally, which is really the best way. Rather than having somebody tell you, you come to this through your inner guidance on your own, so that you make the change systemically from inside of you. And then you're now open to being able to recognize conflicts in your life.
Yes.
And as you notice what's a conflict for you, you then have the ability to stand in your power, make conscious choice to heal that conflict. And this program supports the step-by-step process of healing your conflicts so that you create more peace in your life. And we all know that when you're at peace, you organically and naturally produce your own happiness. It is just amazing. So we have two other programs that are more typically favored by adults, but it's not to say that, you might have a youngster who is, a pro at making millions off a lemonade stand.
It happens, and we call that program our Business Intuition Technologies. And inside this program, we really focus on bringing consciousness and our intuition to our experiences in our business. And that can be school, it can be college, and it can be our businesses. And no matter what role we're in, whether we're an employee or whether we're in a nonprofit, whether we're volunteering and donating our resources to the business, or whether we're the CEO and the executive leadership team of the organization. We promote even organizations joining this as a group opportunity to experience and come together in this focal point of developing your consciousness and your awareness of your intuition in your everyday experience. So, many people share with me, and I've been in work environments too, where it was very challenging I had to be in a left brain logical environment where it wasn't acceptable or understandable to bring in your intuition. Until one time a physician told me and the group, I meditated over the patient that we're working on together. And I thought that that was really remarkable, because what if we all as a team came together and meditated together for just a few minutes and then started to have the clinical discussion of how to better care for the patient at the bedside. And I think that that's really, really valuable, because it sets us out of our nervousness or our tension about what is or isn't happening with the patient, and allows us to come together unified through our heart level coherence, to the point where we can actually hear that patient saying, I'd like this, and I'd like this, and this will help me, and that sort of thing. So we move into more of a unified field, even in the intensive care environment. And so we can do this in any work environment and really bring in our level of intuition. It doesn't have to be all woo-woo and all this and all that. It can just be, I sense, you know, a lot of us nurses will say we sense that the patient is feeling pain. And this one physician said, how do you know this person's feeling pain outside of the vital signs being elevated and other things?
Yeah.
And what the doctor got the nurse to recognize was that that was a projection of the nurse believing that if I was on the bed hooked up to life support, I would feel pain. But he said, take a look at the vitals and everything else, and just the energy pattern of the patient. They're calm, they're quiet, they're disassociated with the medications we've given them from their pain and suffering. So are they really in pain, or is that just our projection? And he was very kind and gentle with the person that was accidentally doing that, because our heart goes out. We don't want to see children and adults in pain and suffering. And so what it did was it helped bring us back to that center point of really determining what was healthy and helpful for that child to come out of the drug-induced coma and come off of life support. And how rapidly could we do this, providing a safe environment. And so this is one example of how we can use our intuition together and come together in a climate that we may not have the words for yet.
Right.
And when we bring that consciousness and awareness, even if we don't act on it, we're still bringing that energetically to our environments, which raises the consciousness of all business in all ways on the planet. And that's what we're so excited about. And then, right, Annie, our last program, which we're super excited about, is our Psychic Enhancements program. And this is developing your intuition. We have a little secret for you. Did you know that how to enhance your psychic abilities is really to release our consciousness challenges? And that when we release our consciousness challenge, that is doubtfulness, upset, irritation, comparison, whatever it is, right? That's negative, that's in a fear state. When we release our fear states, our natural intuitive psychic abilities start to bloom and blossom. And that's where our focus of our psychic enhancements really is there, to enhance and up-level and support you in experiencing your true nature, which has a spiritual aspect to it.
Yeah. It also improves your brain and nervous system, which helps you deal with overwhelm better, which empowers you to, just have a more regulated experience with all the energies that are coming in, which helps you stay, in your foundation of love and stand in your power and come from love with that connection to your inner guidance. It's really beautiful. So we invite you to go to our website, review the programs. Maybe you already know which one you'd like to take, and we invite you to take that program. After 12 weeks, you will be able to look back and see the differences. It is really remarkable.
So how you look us up and really see the program that entices you, that supports you, that you just feel naturally called to, we invite you to come and visit us at our website at accessinfinite.knowledge.com.
And we certainly will answer your questions, and by all means use the contact form to reach out to Ashley and myself. Thank you so much for watching our presentation today on how we decoded and declassified advanced energy remote transmissions. We hope you learned a lot and that you're intrigued enough to take one of our programs, and we both look forward to supporting you in the near future.
Yes.